Kapuka Pu Ulu. That's a tough one. So I'm going up Mauna Loa Road inside Volcano National Park. Everybody wants to go to Volcano National Park and see the crater, the main big crater. And they miss stuff like this, I feel. And I think that's a shame because this is an awesome road. They just paved this recently, or repaved it. And it's one of the really awesome roads on the island. But not just that, it ascends to, I think we're at like 3,700 feet. We're probably going up to what, 9,000? I'll tell you when we get there. I'm gonna go all the way up and then maybe stroll all the way down. You know, this is a good road before they repaved it, but this is outstanding now. It was rough in a lot of spots. It seemed like there may have even been some gravel in some spots, but it's still, I don't know, I like crooked roads, so I guess I'm a little bit biased. But this is just simply outstanding now. This is like something you see in the southeast. Nice, tight, narrow roads, switching back all the way up and down the mountains. Lots of hikers in here. Lots of people will park at the bottom and hike all the way up. And there's a hiking trail at the top, but I don't recall how far up it goes. It seems like there's a silver sword trail. Maybe we'll see some silver swords out today. I saw somebody had one posted. I think the other channel one of the other channels that I'm subscribed to, I think it's Apau Hawaii. It's a tour guide. I think that's what he does. Anyway, I think he posted something about silver swords. He does interesting videos. He does a lot of the stuff, same kind of stuff that I'm interested in. Just kind of showing you around the island. He does tours, I think. At least he has a website that offers tours. But his tours that I see on YouTube are basically him. It feels like I'm on a tour with him. So I imagine his tours are pretty good. He's very well spoken and knowledgeable about the island. Some things that I hope to be, and that's kind of why I'm doing. What's one of the main reasons I'm doing this? I want to learn more about the island, number one. But while I'm learning, I feel like I should teach what I'm learning. Even though I try to qualify everything as I think, and this is what I heard, this is what I read, as not to sound like a not to sound like a pompous jerk, number one, but then also to make sure that, you know, if you have doubts about it, you understand I have doubts about it too when I'm talking about it. And there's another kapuka. I just left a kapuka. I didn't mention that when I took off. This may be the top edge of the kapuka. But like, for instance, I still haven't come to the realization whether or not these trees that I'm looking at are actually koa. But the last time I was here, I'm pretty sure I talked about these trees being koas. But I wasn't really sure because so many of them look dead and white. So I started looking for white trees since I'm like, oh, these are koas. But now I can't tell. They look like they have the same leaves. They look like they have the same shape. And obviously there's a few that are still in pretty good shape. But maybe anybody that knows koas or maybe even knows trees can look these up and see if these are koas or if these are something else. Pretty sure they don't have oak on the island, and if they do, it's in very small quantities. So I'm gonna stick with koa. They're one of the largest trees, except for the possibility of redwoods, there's supposed to be some redwoods over in Waimea. and I rode through those the other day. I've actually ridden through here and posted the videos a couple of times. I don't think that those videos were ever that good, but I've been wanting to get back over here. And this is the space that I remember. This strange group of trees that are bare, and this may be the start of that section. Anyway, hell, even if I don't post this, it's worth the ride up there. It's just magnificent and beautiful, and I like riding through canopies like this, even if there's dead trees around. I did notice at the entrance to the trail back there, the Kapuka Trail, that there was a warning sign that says this is there has been rod detected in this Kapuka, and rod is the nasty rapid ohia death. It's a disease that is affecting the ohia, another one of the endemic trees on the island, native trees. And I'm probably going to have to do a whole video on ohias because it's so interesting. I remember reading about ohias maybe 30 years ago, and from what I remember, I'm pretty sure that's the tree that is the first one to inhabit the fresh lava. So, as succession goes, you'll get some plants, some foliage, kind of makes a little bit of soil, and then the ohias come down and crack up the lava. They come in and take over, and that's why there's anything growing on the island, because ohias come in here and split that lava open. It's a pretty tough tree. It's a very heavy piece of wood. We've cut up a couple of trees on our property, and just moving those things around, they're softer than oak, but they're just as heavy. Just tiny little trees like this are, extremely heavy. So now we're getting back onto the old pavement. It's pretty narrow here. The surface is not quite as good, but it's still pretty awesome. And here's another one of those groves. Oh, look, pheasants. Look at there. I hope to see even more interesting wildlife while we're up here today. When I left the coast neighborhood, it was just partly cloudy. It was warm, partly cloudy, slight breeze, I think 10-15 knots maybe. A standard spring summer day apparently. And you get up here and it looks like it's about to rain. Well, it's spitting, but I'm starting to see patterns on where you go on the island. Like Hilo almost always has a cloud that's hovering over the mountain there, and it just kind of stays there all day long. And I'm kind of thinking that this side of the island, this part right here on this side of Mauna Loa, is very cloudy, when the rest of the island may or may not be cloudy at all, or just partly cloudy like I left. But it's nice getting out of that the heat over towards Hilo and getting up here. I mean, I miss the sunshine. I'd like to have the sunshine back, but it's probably 15 degrees cooler right here. It's at least 10. It's much, much cooler. Wow, it's kind of, I can leave the Hilo side and it's 90 degrees, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. But coming up the hill, up towards Volcano, which is a town in between Hilo and Volcano National Park. Anyway, coming up the hill, you're going to 4,000 feet. It gets really cold, and most of the time you're going to run into some rain or at least sprinkles like it is now. So you kind of have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for much colder weather and possibility of rain. And I put out a video just a few days back I'll put that up here about rain gear and why it's so important on this island. Not just that, it's kind of good to be flexible here because it could 10 minutes from being in hot, humid sunshine, you could be in cold, very cold rain within just a few minutes, and then back into the heat and humidity, and it's kind of hard to get your gear right. I've got some really nice riding gear on the mainland, but I didn't bring any of that stuff here because I knew I was not going to wear it much. The rain gear is good as long as it's raining in the winter. And the breathable mesh gear is good as long as it doesn't rain. And they don't really mix together. So, I'd have to carry some bulky gear with me everywhere I went, or I would just go, opt for something I could put in my saddlebags, which is this, wet weather gear that I'm wearing. Anyways, just some things to think about. And right now I'm trying to, on the topic of motorcycles and weather and islands, I'm trying to produce videos now that will go on both of my channels, or that I can cut into something that people that don't ride motorcycles can watch and people that do ride motorcycles can watch. So I have a few subscribers on Moto Giant that don't ride motorcycles, and I've acquired those viewers and subscribers through weird videos, some overlap. I've had a lot of overlap with other audiences. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes people get pissed off when they came for this and I'm not doing that anymore. I've seen that a lot. But hopefully I just, my goal here is to try to make some interesting videos for both crowds. I think the Hawaiian people are interested in Hawaii and living in the tropics. I think that's probably a bigger crowd overall. That's why I'm kind of focusing on them a little bit, because my feeling, my gut instinct is that people are not riding motorcycles anymore. Not that they rode much in the past 20 years to start with, but a lot of people bought motorcycles 20 years ago thinking that they could live the American dream just by purchasing a $30,000 motorcycle. They too could live like somebody like me, live that life of adventure. And slowly the discontent crept in, and they realized maybe it was a little bit more work, a little bit more effort. And it didn't help that I called out a few people and said, hey, look, you might be a poser if you have these. If you want to see that video, it's kind of funny. Go check it out here. 10 reasons why you might be a poser. Yeah, I think it's people like to belong, and I think that has been a challenge for a lot of people, being, having their identity challenged either from somebody else or themselves, realizing, hey, look, I guess I'm probably not. Check this guy out. Oh, that was a nene, I think. Huh. So I'm also going to do a native species video too, so we don't get too far down the whole motorcycle road. But they're cutting the grass nicely up here. You got these little pullouts. I don't know if they're hiking trails or if it's just a place for you to park. Yeah, there's a lot of dead trees up here. This looks like actual fire here. This may have been a fire. Yeah, I don't remember the black bark. So maybe it's a good thing that I'm going so damn slow. Yeah, this is a fire. That's burnt trees. Wow, that's crazy. Well, you slow down to closer to the speed limit and you start seeing things that you wouldn't normally see. Yeah, I think we're probably getting up into the cloud layer. think I've heard it called the inversion layer, which inversion typically means fog, but I don't think this is fog. I think this is moisture condensation due to pressure, maybe, rather than temperature inversion. Well, maybe that's what inversion is. It's hitting a cold air is hitting warm air, and moisture is dropping out. That may be all clouds, may be in an inversion layer. I don't know. I need to do that research. But you can see, yeah, we're up pretty close. You can see it's getting pretty, what would you call it, moist up there? Yeah, hopefully we're not blocked out. I would like to look back down on Kilauea. Although Kilauea has stopped erupting. That's a recent development. There is no lava lake. And even sulfur dioxide levels have dropped. But even more interesting than that is the fact that, all right, we're at 5,600 feet. And we're going through a flow here with a lava channel. Wow, that's pretty massive. I am glad I'm going slow. I can slow down and see things like this. But what I was trying to say is Kilauea has stopped erupting like it did before December. It started erupting again in December, and now it has started erupting, or it stopped erupting once again. But the interesting thing is Mauna Loa, which is the volcano I'm riding up right now, is becoming very active. There has been several thousand small earthquakes within the last few days. I think that's right. Forgive me, my brain doesn't function the way it used to. Not to say that it was ever a steel trap, but it's just getting worse and worse. I'm going to start calling my videos Alzheimer memories. I'm going to start spitting out a bunch of vague facts that I hedge and qualify. Yeah, I believe I have $1 million in the bank, but don't hold me to that because it could be a whole lot less than that. Yeah, this has got to be the slowest I've ever ridden this road. Usually it's twice or three times as fast because I'm having such a good time on the road. I'm not really looking around, but I really got a laid back attitude today. I'm not in a hurry to do anything. Except get to the top, get under that shed, and put a sweater on because it's a little bit nippy. I would say it's probably 62 degrees and wet. Going from, I would say 85, between 80 and 85 when I left Cal, and it's probably, it could be 60 degrees. My hands are getting cold, so that makes me think it may be below 60 even. I almost grabbed my leather gloves, my riding gloves, almost grabbed them and was like, nah, I'm not going up that high. I'm not going to spend that long up there. It's not going to be cold going up and down, and here it is. It's cold. We have made it to the top. Wonderful. Oh yeah.